Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. In this presentation, we're going to take a look at another way that we're going to be using tomatoes. In this case, we're going to be infusing some sausages and potatoes with the tomato, as well as we're going to make some scrambled egg and a bagel on the side. So I'm going to take my time here and show you how easy this recipe is to achieve. So let's get into this. Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for yet another video. In this presentation, we're going to be making a breakfast special. In this case, we're going to be making an item mostly out of tomatoes because, like I said, tomatoes in season. So I'm going to show you all the ways that I use up my tomatoes when I have a lot. So tomatoes, I'm going to be using a lot of those. Eggs, sausages, you can pick whichever sausage of your choice. You're also going to need an onion. I'm going to be using about half of this pepper chopped, half of this orange one chopped. I have 3 average sized potatoes, 2 strands of celery, and 1 strand of green onion, a touch of green seasoning, so about a teaspoon, about a tablespoon of chicken base seasoning, about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, which is optional. I just put it to wake up my flavors. I don't put enough to taste. A bit of minced ginger and a bit of minced garlic, and that should be all you need. So first thing first, I'm gonna get these items prepped. Like cut these up, these, and I'll show you whatever. So y'all, I have all my items prepped. I have my potatoes finely minced. I prefer them kind of small just because they cook a little bit easier. I have my eggs that are going to be set aside. I'll show you how we're going to season those. I have 4 of those sausages that were cut up. They were just half sized. Green onion chopped, minced. I have my celery minced. I have my onion minced. I have 3 tomatoes minced. First thing first, you're going to use a pot and you're going to put 3 tablespoons of cooking oil in there. Next, you're going to follow that up with your potatoes right away. We just started getting a nice sizzle on it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set a timer. We're just gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. Not necessarily needing 20, but we're gonna know exactly how long we've had our potatoes on for. And this entire meal altogether, to be honest. The second item that's gonna go in once the sizzle begins is going to be your sausages. And we'll give that a stir. So after about 3 minutes of your potatoes and sausages being cooked, just 3 minutes, we're gonna consistently stir it because we don't really want anything to stick, although it's not gonna stay permanently stuck. The next thing we're gonna put in now is our onions. We're gonna put in all of our onions and give that a mix. Like, this is 3 minutes after initially starting to cook the potatoes and sausages. So guys, all of our flavors have been blooming nicely so far. We have a 12 minutes left on our timer, which means this has been cooking for 8 minutes so far. So now we're gonna start seasoning it. First, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of chicken base seasoning, a 1/4 teaspoon of hot sauce. Now, mind you, this is not mandatory. I just like to give my stuff a touch of flavor. We're going in with 1 teaspoon of green seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of minced ginger, and 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic. And then we're going to give this a mix. And we'll let that cook till it gets to about 9 minutes, and then we'll proceed with the rest. So we have about 9 minutes left on our timer. So what we're going to do is we have our tomatoes here. And we're going to be adding that right on into this mix. We're going to give that a stir to incorporate. And we're going to let this cook till it gets down to about 5 minutes. So for the next 4 minutes, we'll let this go. And it's still on medium-high heat, by the way. So we'll let this cook on. So here we have the last of our ingredients, which would be the eggs. So to do the eggs, all I'm gonna put in here for seasoning is I'm gonna put in some of our chicken base seasoning. I'm gonna put 1 tablespoon of that. I'm gonna be putting in half of my green onions that are chopped. The leafy part, we're gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of the leafy part. And then we're gonna give that a mix to incorporate. So guys, there's about 5 minutes left out of that 20-minute timer. At this point, I'm just gonna add a bit of the stalkier part of the celery to this dish. So the parts that have the stalk, not necessarily the leafy part, but the stalkier part, so that the stalks can go in there and give it a blast of flavor. We're also gonna put in half of our green onions that are chopped and leave back half. And then we're gonna give that a mix to incorporate in here. We're gonna let this cook down uncovered on a medium-high heat. We don't need all this moisture, however the moisture is what's cooking the potatoes and as well as infusing everything else. So we're not, the 20-minute timer is just our guide to show us how long we've been cooking the potatoes. Also, my 20-minute timer just went off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be removing this from the heat and we're gonna be placing it into a dish. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. I'm just gonna be literally scooping it off into a dish. So I'm removing it from the heat right now. And we're gonna be placing this into this bowl right here. Hey guys, so I'm just back to show you the finale of the potatoes and sausages. They are totally finished. There's a tad bit of gravy, but most of it has been dried out. I'll show you what it serves up as when I'm done with my other item. So now I'm gonna be proceeding to what I'm gonna be doing next that goes along with this. But I'll be back to show you. I just wanted to show you what it plated up to be or what it looks like. Okay, so to a fry pan, I have 1 tablespoon of butter, and to that butter that's hot at this point, I'm going to be adding in my eggs that we had prepped. So we just give it a whisk again to wake it up, and then we're gonna pour that directly into the middle of the butter. That way there's butter on the edges of the egg for it to cook. So we'll let this set until our edges form and then we'll mix. The edges are just starting to form. This is what I mean by form. They're starting to get stiff. So I like it like that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna I like to shove it off to the side. Let that side, see there's lots of egg that hasn't been cooked. So I let that kind of get situated in the pot, and while that bottom layer gets situated like that, remember the top of this is uncooked. So I'm just gonna literally put the top back on it. I'm gonna kind of do the same thing again. This time I'm gonna flip everything. At this point is when I turn off my stove because I don't like my eggs too dry. So I use my spatula and I just kind of stab the eggs, and that's how I get my eggs scrambled. Yeah. So this egg is pretty much done cooking and ready to Hey guys, served. I just came back to show you the finale of this meal. So here we have our stewed sausages with potatoes and tomatoes, as well as our scrambled egg with green onions, and I did it on the side with a bagel. So yeah, this is what this breakfast serves up to look like. And yeah, I hope you try it out, and I promise that it delivers